What's going on? This is Ryan. I coming to you with another Tetris Attack improvement video. This one is going to be practicing your versus mode skills against the computer. So let's say that you've been practicing your game for a while and you want to know how you stack up against somebody in versus mode who's really good, but you don't have another really good human opponent to play, which is a very likely possibility because there really aren't that many people who play this game nowadays. I think they have a tournament somewhere every year, but it's not very popular, obviously, because this is a pretty niche game. But let's say that you wanted to, see how good you are against a really, really good computer opponent. If you play through the versus mode and you're fairly decent at this game, especially at chaining, you'll realize quickly that almost all of the opponents, even on the hard difficulty, suck. But what some people don't know is that there's actually an extra hard mode in this game, and the last boss on the extra hard mode, which would be Bowser, on this particular difficulty, this is like the strongest opponent I think you can face in this game. And you can reach him really easily just by typing in the following password. So, if you wanted to train on the best versus opponent, just type in this password. S6 question mark L7B7 or S6 question mark L7B7 exclamation point. I think this is it. And you'll start immediately at the strongest Bowser. Now, I've been practicing this for a little bit, but in order to beat this guy with any sort of frequency, I would need to have been practicing this game at least for a week. So I'm going to attempt this a few times, but I'll probably lose on all of them. You can see how good this opponent is. He knows to raise this stack. You'll notice that the blocks also fall faster on this mode. They're actually falling at normal speed. And remember the tips that I told you. You always want to be mindful of the stack above you. So, chaining becomes less important when your stack is filled to the brim. But you'll notice that chaining also becomes a little easier when you have some things to work with. Take advantage of any freeze time you can. And always try to use the falling blocks to your advantage. Yeah, I'm gonna lose. So, I made it a minute. That's actually not too bad for this guy. Important thing to keep in mind here is when you're fighting any boss in the versus mode, if you use a character other than Yoshi, you don't get to play with them again. So I would suggest, if you want to just practice this, use Yoshi. I prefer the lava dude, but I'm just showing you, it doesn't really matter. Let's try it again. Oh shit. Focusing on just getting rid of his shit, because on this difficulty you do not want to waste any time. My stack is already way too tall. Yeah. I didn't even pay attention to how big of a chain he sent me, but you can see how effective that is. Let me try one more time. Like I said, this is a good barometer of your progress Obviously, I haven't been training enough to be able to beat him easily, but in my prime, if I've been training at this game for a while, I could probably beat this Bowser maybe once out of every 3 attempts. With that kind of frequency, it's possible, I'd say. Let's see how. See, his stack is getting a little high. Now would actually be the best time to start chaining. If you can orchestrate one. But remember, don't get into hot water. Don't get carried away. You don't want to lose. Like I see him sending me a whole bunch of shit, so I need to go into like maintenance mode right now. Just start getting rid of this bullshit that's on top. Fuck. Yeah, it's over. So this opponent is really good. I would suggest just practicing on this one if you're feeling really good, like you've been practicing at your versus mode for a while. I would still suggest practicing on endless mode to, get better at chaining. But if you want to put your chaining skills to the test, I definitely encourage you to try fighting this Bowser. And that's it.